Welcome to Lesson 3B. In the next preview assignment and in the next class, you're going to need to be able to use rates and unit rates. I've asked you to start a glossary or flashcards or like sticky notes, something where you're going to have words that you'll memorize. You've got to know the pieces and parts of all of the words. In addition, we're going to need to be able to calculate the mean of a data set. So starting with rates and unit rates. Read along or read and then come back and look at this. But a rate is a special ratio. It's a special fraction in which the two terms are in different rates. You've probably said, I drive 55 miles per hour. Those are different rates, miles and hours. When the denominator has a value of 1, it gets a special name. It's not just rate, it's called a unit rate. In other words, it's per, used with the unit rate. The one that I wrote was actually a unit rate, 55 miles per 1 hour. An example of a rate is traveling 60 miles in 3 hours. A unit rate is created when the rate is converted and has a denominator of 1. But we're going to start by saying 60 miles. And remember to write your units. And sorry, everything's really crooked right now. To write your units, and we've got 60 miles over 3 hours. And so we'll start with the fraction. We'll start with the ratio, which is a rate because it has different units. And then we'll grab a calculator or some fraction reducing and see that another way to say this as a unit rate is we're going 20 miles for every 1 hour. I want you to go ahead and hit pause and do all parts A through E of number 1 without looking at the video. Go ahead and get some answers for A through E and then come back and let's walk through your answers and some work with question number 1. The directions ask us to write each of the following rates as a fraction and then convert it to a unit rate and then write a contextual sentence using the unit rate. A reminder that in the back of your 1332 quantitative reasoning book, there are resources, and there is the very, very last resource talks about writing, and that's a great place to get ideas. If you were in my 1332 class, we were talking about how we start getting some words that are good keywords to use, them good words you kind of keep in your pocket, not for cheating, but just to have handy that you use, that you like those words, and they're just good handy words to use. Like, we are going to do as it says a fraction first, and we're going to write that I have 900, or we have 900 miles for 12 hours. Okay, we did the first thing they wanted. We wrote the rate as a fraction. I'm grabbing my calculator. I'm punching in 900. That's not 900. This is 900 divided by 12, and I'm getting 75. So to convert to a unit rate, I am now at 75 miles for every 1 hour. And this is a contextual sentence. It's talking about a person driving. How many miles do they drive per each hour? We can make up a name for the person, or we can just say something along the lines, this person, contextual sentence here, drove 75 miles for every hour. How about drove 75 miles every hour, 1 hour of their trip. And we can flip the words around and say every hour they drove 75 miles. The gist being you can write a fraction, you can reduce it, and then you can interpret what you have written. Let's keep going. Looking at part B, a pie, yay, has a total of 4,800 calories in the whole pie, and it gets cut into 8 slices. How many calories are in each slice? Sometimes people say, I don't know which way to write the fraction. And you fish out the words when it says how many calories are in each slice. How many calories per slice? Use lots of words because then I note that I can put my 4,800 calories over 8 slices and I'm going in the right direction. I have my fraction I'm going to grab a calculator, or we're going to look at those numbers that it's 4,800 divided by 8 and jot down that we have 600 calories per one slice or each slice. And you could say, if you want to get creative and say, Aunt whoever, Aunt B, made a pie, and we calculated that for every Aunt B's pie has 600 calories for every slice. And then looking at part C, I think I've got a little bit more up here. I think I've got C and D. We're going to keep the same process going. If you don't like the answers you had for A through E just a while ago, you might want to hit pause right here and redo C, D, and E if you have a different grasp on what we are doing. I want to look now at a satellite radio contract is $215 for a year or 12 months. How much does the contract cost? Oh, there's our winner right there. Cost per month. So I'm going to do my little thinking on the side, cost per month. If I have $215 as my cost and I have 12 months that I'm dealing with, I have written the fraction that they've asked for. That's a great plan to write down and reduce mistakes. But 215 divided by 12, and it says round to the nearest cent. This is what's showing up on my calculator. And to the nearest cent means I'm going to look at the hundredths, or underline, and then look to its right, which would be the thousandths, and that's going to be about $17.92 per every month. And then you can play around with the sentence about every month I have my satellite radio contract. I am paying $17.92. Write something that tells what you're doing, what it is, and gives both pieces of our unit rate. D, we have bags, cherries, money. Oops, here it is. What is the cost per pound? Cost per pound. That helps me know exactly what to do. I find the cost of the whole bag. I note that it is 10 pounds in that bag. And again, you can use former skills about which way to move the decimal, or you can punch in a calculator. Either way you go, I need you to come up with that $3 and, oops, hang on. I get this on the screen or moving the decimal over one spot. But if it wants us to round to the nearest cent, then I'm getting $3 and, let's check this out, cent, that, 5K. $3.35 for every pound. So this would be something that I could write a sentence about, that when I go to the store to buy cherries, I have to know that for every pound I buy, I am paying $3.35. So finishing up question 1 with part E, we have a date, we have a place, we have snow and an hour, and then it says how much snow fell per hour. So snow per hour. I got 22 inches, or we have 22 inches from our question, and we got that much for 5 hours. And so grabbing a calculator, I have 22 that I'm dividing by 5. I get 4 4/10 inches for every hour. They don't tell us where to round it, so we're going to stay right here. I can write a simple sentence that says, for every 1 hour of snowfall, we got 4 4/10 inches. I would like you to complete question number 2, parts A, B, and C. Now, hit pause, go do that question number 2, and then come back and let's work on these together. Question 2 says we can use unit rates to compare prices and find best values. It asks us to find 2 unit rates for each of the situations below and then use those to determine which value is better and write a sentence that justifies this. So starting with part A, we are comparing, did it again. 20-ounce bag of Cheetos price and then a 12.5-ounce bag, and determine which of the 2 bags offers the best value. I'm not sure anywhere on here does it say which direction to go, but I want to go price per whatever. In this case, it's price per ounce. In this case, it's going to be like the bars. So in part B, I'll do cost per bar, etc. If you haven't already stopped to do all 3 parts by yourself first, go ahead and hit pause, do parts A, B, and C, and then come back together. So looking at part A, they want us to compare. So I'm going to take the first one, which is $4.99 for 20.5 ounces, and do a calculation. Grab calculator. Here we go. $4.99 divided by 20.5 ounces. And we're trying to get it to a unit rate for comparisons. And I'm going to go ahead and make this one 24 cents an ounce. We'll change colors to do the next one that it's $4.29 right here for every 12.5 ounces. And when we do $4.29 divided by 12.5 ounces, we get that it is about 34 cents for every 1 ounce. They're asking us to determine which is the best value and write a sentence. So the best value is going to be the one that costs less per ounce. So the best value is the $4.99 20.5 ounce bag. And you can write some kind of sentence that talks about either comparing the two or that the best value in this particular situation for Cheetos will be that you buy the 20.5 ounce bag for $4.99, which comes down to about 24 cents per ounce. Let's keep going and looking at the bars of soap. And I'm going to do the same process. We're trying to get it down to a unit rate to make it comparable or being able to compare the values. So I have one item of soap that's $10 for every 12 bars. I'm going to grab calculator. We're going to do $10 divided by 12 bars, and we get about 45 cents for every 1 bar. And then over here, let's go ahead and change colors. And the other one is that for $4, I can get 5 bars. So again, a quick calculation, 4 divided by 5, and I'm getting 80 cents for every 1 bar. They're asking us to get these to unit rates and then compare. And here's our winner. The $10 package of 12 bars, that's almost half of what the other one is costing. And you can even say comments like that it's almost half the price per bar to go ahead and purchase the package for $10 with 12 bars. We'll finish up this lesson where we have a 5-gallon bucket of paint, and then you have another one which is a 1-gallon bucket. Again, I'm going to leave it at cost per, in this case it's gallons, and so our first one is $124 for 5 gallons. We're going to do the division and get $124 divided by 5, and we're getting that it's $24.80 for every 1 gallon. The nice thing is the next one's already done because it says the other item is $25.98 for every 1 gallon. So looking at these two, a quick comparison says it is going to be cheaper to go ahead and buy the 5-gallon bucket for $124 because it is less per gallon. Write a sentence that says some comment to that fact, and check your calendar because this ends lesson 3B, Look at your calendar to see if you have any more lessons due by this week's deadline. If so, keep going on, and if not, upload these to D2L, and we'll see you on another lesson very soon.